Hey, so today I want to talk about Hulu original film False Positive, written written by I guess John Lee and Ilana Grazer, and she also wrote this and she's acted in this, and I think she's also the main producer of this film. So you can see that this is actually a kind of her idea, and she actually got this whole project from ground up. Now, knowing this, Ilana Glazer, you may or may not know who she is. She is actually a stand-up comedian turned actress. So I guess she just had a cool concept of a film and she brought it to A24, and A24 actually made it, but I guess it got distributed to Hulu because of pandemic. Now this film also stars Justin Theroux and Pierce Brosnan and other people that you also might know, such as Gretchen Mol and Sophia Bush. So there's a lot going on. They didn't skimp out on the kind of acting side of things. So now that makes me want to question that why so many like sort of powerhouse actors got attached to this an indie film. Because I think this film has a concept that reads very well in a script. I think about that a lot when a film that kind of has got I don't know, a lukewarm reception, or that's not just doing that well that it should have been, and then my mind starts to work is like, what happened to this film? Why do so many good people or so many talented people got roped into this? Then it makes me think like that maybe the script actually read very well, and I guess the transition didn't actually happen quite smoothly. Now, that's not a knock on this film, absolutely. This film definitely has its moments, and this film is still, I would say, solid. Now, I guess it would help if you get to know the plot a little, because this is an indie film and you might not know anything about it. Ilana Glazer and Justin Theroux plays a husband-wife who has been trying to get pregnant for some time, and they go to Pierce Brosnan, who's the very prominent infertility director, and he helps them. And that's where the things escalate. I'm not going to say anything more. So, how the film turns and unravels, I kind of find that it was quite uneven. And what I mean by that is like things are like happening, and then there's a shift, and sometimes changes. You don't absolutely know what happened, because the character, she's going through some transitions. People are calling it like mommy brain, or she's like becoming paranoid or hallucinating things. So in that way, it feels like you should be with your character for the whole journey to see how it unravels, but it doesn't. The way you feel like, or you see that this film is unraveling, is by kind of seeing the baby bump. I guess that's part of the aesthetic choices they made, and that's my second point: aesthetics. This film is gorgeous to look at. This film is shot absolutely beautifully. The lighting is immaculate, as you know how bad my lighting is and the setup I have. I know how valuable it is to have good light, and this film has excellent, tremendous lighting. There's a scene where Justin Theroux is just typing something on a laptop, and this whole scene is done kind of like in a wide angle shot where he's just sitting in one corner and everything is blacked out. That scene is so meticulously done. It's hats off. The director, and I guess the cinematographer, the director John Lee, he did a tremendous job, and the cinematographer also did a very well job. So, A24, and being an A24 film, they didn't skip out on the swank. They are going to work on these compartments, though I think they kind of didn't swank out on anything, as I just alluded before. A lot of people got actually attached to this project, so I guess this reads very well. But what happened is, when you're seeing the film is so like weirdly paced and uneven, and by the time the third act rolls around, everything just kind of doesn't mesh well together. That's like all I can say without giving any spoilers, because this film sort of has a very like, it has a good premise. That's why you can see like Ilana Glazer wrote it, produced it, and she acted in it. She's putting a lot out there, and she apparently also worked very closely with director John Lee. So all said in that front, and Justin Theroux and Pierce Brosnan are on career streaks. They work on really good projects, but this film feels like a lot of people are saying that it's a too little derivative of Rosemary's Baby. Now, honest, I haven't seen Rosemary's Baby. I understand the basic gist of what Rosemary is, so I'm not gonna compare that to it because I didn't see it, or I can't really compare. But for what I saw, this sort of like maternal not even paranormal, maternal horror or psychological horror that they mesh together for the modern age, it's kind of just okay. Nothing about these films wows you, because we know that for a indie film to get around to and become really good, they have to wow at a lot of things. Otherwise, people don't talk about it. Just look at other A24 offerings like Hereditary. They have to like wow people, and they have to like kind of be on the talk of the town and be the part of the popular culture. And sadly, false positive is going to be neither. But what I would say that this is a 1.5 hour film. This is meticulously shot, really gorgeous film to look at. There are some iffy and grossed out shots that kind of goes with the territory of like motherhood and childbirth and stuff like that. So be wary of that. There are some scenes like that, though I wouldn't call it too overbearing, but I guess for some people it might be overbearing, so that's something to keep in mind. And there are good actors who done tremendously well. Pierce Brosnan is really good in this film, and the head nurse that portrays by Gretchen Mol, that's also good. I would feel like Ilana Glazer did a okay job, and I guess with that whole roundup, this film is kind of okay. Now, if you have Hulu, or if you wanna kind of support an independent film, or if you are like a fan of like any of them, like Ilana Glazer or Justin Theroux or Pierce Brosnan, you should definitely watch this film. Or if you like, looking for certain kind of understated, low-key horror film that kind of unravels or kind of goes off the rails in the third act, you can watch this film. This is somewhat of a lukewarm 3 out of 5, but I guess if you watch it with the right mindset, you can actually enjoy it. There's not too much to knock out of it. I know the receptions are really bad. It's not that bad, but it's just tremendously, excruciatingly mediocre.